So the final answer for this is 6 root 2. Okay. So after doing this, after simplifying this, we go ahead and substitute them in the original equation, which was this. So meaning that where there is root of 18, we shall substitute 3 root 2. So we shall end up having 3 root 2 minus the root of 200 is 10 root 2.
Yes.
Then minus 2, the root of 72 is given by 6 root of 2. Okay. So from here we can go ahead and we first open the other bracket, which is on the other side. So we shall have 6 root 2 minus 10 root 2. Now what is 2 times 6 root 2? When you're multiplying a scalar with this, what happens is that the 2 multiplies with the it doesn't multiply with these 2 outside here. So meaning that if you are multiplying 2 times 6 root 2, we end up getting our answer as 12 root 2. Okay, so you can go ahead and work out this. This will be 3 root 2. 3 root 2. Negative 10 minus 12, what do you get?
Negative 10 minus 12.
Yes.
You get negative
22. Negative 22 root 2. Negative 22 root 2. And then finally, if you get 3 root 2 minus negative 22 root 2, it's actually the same as when you're dealing with any other unknowns. Let's say if root 2 was like any other unknown, let's say an unknown like k, like you have 3k minus 10k minus 12k. So root 2 there acts like any other unknown, but in this case, it's a surd. Okay, so this is 3 root 2 minus 22 root 2. So we shall end up having our answer as negative, I think it's negative 19 root 2. Okay, so our answer is negative 19 root 2. Okay, so basically that's how you're supposed to do all these simplifications, even this, all these. Then the last ones, which are this, might be this, and might be this. Those are about, they are testing your knowledge of multiplication and opening of brackets. That is the properties of surds. What do you do when you're multiplying surds? What do you do when you're opening a bracket? For example, if I'm to do this, root A into root A times root B. So when you're multiplying two surds, if I'm to go back a little bit, to the properties of surds, this is the simplification of surds. When you're multiplying surds, let's say root A, when you're multiplying root A times root A, that is if you're multiplying root A multiplied by root A, what happens is that the numbers which are under the square root, they multiply together. That is, you'll be having, you multiply the numbers which are under the square root sign together. That is, the A will multiply with the A, but under the same square root sign. So you end up having the square root of A times A, which is A squared. And of course, the square root will cancel with the square, and you end up getting your answer as A. So that's how we do the multiplication. Even if it is root A multiplied by root B, even if it is root A being multiplied by root B, what we basically do is we take the square root sign and then we multiply the numbers which are under the square root, and we shall end up having our answer as root of a times b, which is ab, which is ab. So if you're to go backwards, it is the same. If you are to expand this root ab, it is the same as root of a multiplied by root of b. But however, the situation changes. It changes when we are multiplying with a scalar. Let's say if you're multiplying 2 times root a. So when we are multiplying this 2 times root a, since this 2 is not a surd, or it is not under the square root, so what happens is that the 2 does not go under the square root sign. So the 2 just multiplies with the root a, and we end up getting our answer as 2 root a. That is 2 does not go under the square root. So basically that is what happens when we are multiplying. So this question here is testing us the use of that knowledge from up there. For example, if you are having this, that is root a, that is if you are simplifying root a being multiplied into root a minus root b, this will be the same as having, so when you're opening brackets, root a will multiply with each of these, which is inside the bracket. So we shall end up having root a being multiplied into root a. The dot means multiplication minus, then this root a will again multiply with root b. So we shall end up having root a being multiplied by root b. Okay. So when you multiply root a with root a, the numbers which are under the square root sign multiply with themselves, and we shall end up having root of a times a, which is a squared, because a multiplies with itself under the square root, minus root a times root b. A and b will multiply together under the square root, such that we have root ab. For this one, since it is the square root of a squared, the square will cancel with the square root sign, and then we remain with a minus the square root of ab. Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Okay, so we can go ahead and look at now. What if now we are opening a bracket on number 27? So if you are dealing with number 27, which is 7 minus 3 root 2,
Yes.
being multiplied into 7 plus 3 root 2. Seven plus 3 root 2. So what we basically do here is that the 7, we open this bracket whereby we shall get the first number from this, multiply it with the second bracket, then we get this second value, we multiply it with the second bracket. Whenever you're taking a value, please take it with its sign. So the 7 is positive, so we shall take positive 7, and then we multiply it with the second bracket, which is 7 plus 3 root 2. Then we take the negative 3 root 2, and we multiply it into 7 plus 3 root 2. Okay. After that, we can go ahead and we now do the opening of brackets. So of course here it will be 7 times 7, which is 49,
Yes.
plus 7 times 3 root 2. When you multiply 7 with 3 root 2, this
21 root
7,
2.
since it is not under the square root, it will multiply with a 3, such that we get 21 root 2. Okay. Negative 3 root 2 times 7, what do we get? Negative 3 root 2 times 7. Still the 7 multiplies with the number which is outside the root, that is 3.
21 root 2.
We end up getting negative 21 root 2. And finally, we have negative 3 root 2 times positive 3 root 2. What do we get there? So when you're multiplying this, 3 which is outside the square root will multiply with the 3 outside the square root, and then the root 2 will multiply with the root 2. That is, the number under this square root will also multiply with the number under the square root. So meaning that the 3, if the 3 multiplies with this 3, we shall end up getting, since it's a negative, so we shall get negative. So it will be negative 3 times 3, which is 9. And then on the other side, since root 2 will multiply with root 2 to give us the square root of 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 will multiply with this 2 under the square root to give us 4, and then this 3 outside will multiply with this 3 to give us 9.
Yes. Yeah.
Like when you're solving any other unknowns, if you have 21x minus 21x, that will be a 0. So still, this one will subtract this one to give us a 0, such that we only remain with negative 9 root 4. But we know that the square root of 4 is 2. So basically this will be the same as 9. This will be the same as 9, negative 9 root 4. Negative 9 root 4 will be the same as having negative 9. The root of 4 is 2, so it will be the same as negative 9 times 2, which will give us negative 18. So basically it's 49 minus 18. And what answer do we get from here?
31.
So the answer is 31. The answer is 31. Okay. Okay, so meaning that you're going to do 28. Yes? You're going to solve 28 here. 28. Please solve 28 and see what it gives you. 28. Okay. Are you solving it now? Are you solving 28? Yes or no?
I'm not solving it. I'm not finding what I'm looking for.